Hello everybody and welcome to the channel. My name is Starrapter and today I'm going to be reviewing spoiler-free a book that isn't a Star Wars book for once, but is in fact World of Warcraft Before the Storm, written by Christie Golden. Speaking of Star Wars, she has written Star Wars before. She has wrote the Dark Disciple novel, which is in the Clone Wars, and she has also written the story Inferno Squad, which was the prequel to Battlefront 2. So I trusted her to get me into my first Warcraft book because I really love her writing style and her story she has made for Star Wars. So I said, you know what, I'm going to jump into these Warcraft books. After playing the game since 2005, I've never read any Warcraft lore that was outside of the game. So I said, you know what, this is probably the best way to jump in because this is pertaining to the current events in World of Warcraft. So this is actually taking place after the latest expansion, Legion, and it is actually bridging us into the next release of their expansion called Battle for Azeroth. So we are at a time of peace in Warcraft. We have both the Alliance and the Horde who had to band together to destroy the Burning Legion, and now that is over, their alliance is kind of coming apart. So we have this part of peace where you have the main characters of both Sylvanas Windrunner, who is the war chief of the Horde, the leader of the Horde, and for the leader of the Alliance, you have King Anduin Wrynn. So you have these two very different, distinct characters. You have Anduin, who's all for peace, and you have Sylvanas Windrunner, who is starting to think about war again, but neither of them are ready for war because they just got done with war, so they're just trying to repair the damage that has been done and trying to build up from there. So this is pretty much like a Cold War story, and that's pretty much as I want to tell you about this story because it is really good. There's lots of surprises in here, and I think it's going to be very rewarding to go into this spoiler-free. So let's talk about the things that I liked most about World of Warcraft Before the Storm. And first off, as a long-time World of Warcraft player, it was awesome having all these references, specifically to items such as portals and hearthstones and different kind of goblin gadgets. I really, really enjoyed that. And the locations. I felt like I was in these locations they were talking about, like Stormwind, you've got Orgrimmar, you have Teneris, you have Silithus, all these locations that I've spent hours in World of Warcraft. And Christie Golden does such a great job of just fleshing out these zones that are in the game, where I felt when I was reading this book that I was in that world. So that was really awesome. I did like getting the perspective of the Horde and Alliance. I mean, these are huge factions that are vying for control in the world of Azeroth, which is what World of Warcraft's planet is actually called. So it was really neat getting both sides. You have characters, some major, some minor on both sides that you have encountered in the video game, the PC game, and specifically the main characters of Anduin Wrynn, and you have Sylvanas Windrunner, and they both have these huge turning point parts in their story. Like I said, they're both distinct, they both have a lot of personality, and without reading this book I wouldn't have known quite so much about these characters. I also did like the connection to the epilogue from Legion. So there's this one scene that's a cutscene, and Christie Golden does a great job of really just telling us what Anduin Wrynn is feeling in that moment for sure. I do like how this book really just harnesses that magic that World of Warcraft has. I really felt like she nailed the tone with these different characters, and she really makes me feel like I've come home. Instead of playing the game, I'm reading it and I'm feeling like I'm inside of the game. And speaking of being inside the game, there's actually a reference which I thought was really cool to my own player character. So that was really neat right there. I think the exposition is done really well in this because there's certain things that I learned that I'm very interested in that I didn't really pay attention to in playing the game. Some big, long history. She does a great job of just summarizing the different events. I feel like what's really great about this book is, like, I've never read another Warcraft book, but I felt like I knew enough because she explained enough without making it feel too lore heavy at moments. So that to me was really good writing on her part, as well as weaving together the various storylines. At first they feel very distinct, and they're very separated basically from what's going on, and then by the end of the novel everything sort of comes together in a way that feels very satisfying. And speaking of feels, this book has them for sure. I didn't think that I would actually feel certain ways of emotional despair. Maybe that's not the best word or best description of it, but man, I definitely felt for some of these characters in this story, and it is definitely something that, again, goes to the power and the prowess of Christie Golden as a writer. And one thing that surprises me is how Christie Golden sheds light on certain feuds, I guess you could say, between certain races in this game, and it makes total sense. I've never thought about there being conflict between these people, and you know, you really feel for some of these characters in ways, again, that I did not expect. I will say that the only thing that I didn't like about this book is that it was slow at points, and it could have used a little bit more action, but that's why it's called Before the Storm. It's like the calm before the storm, because we know when we get into World of Warcraft on August 14th, the Battle for Azeroth will be here, and it's going to be merciless. So with that being said, I'm going to give World of Warcraft Before the Storm a score of a 9 out of 10. I'm so happy that I decided to go with this one as my first Warcraft book, because not only is it relevant to what's going on in the current events of Azeroth, but it's actually very welcoming to new readers as myself. So what do you guys have to say about World of Warcraft Before the Storm? Do you plan on reading this one before you get ready for Battle for Azeroth? Let's talk about it in that comment section below. Guys, if you like this video, I have tons of other video content on the channel, such as Sea of Thieves videos, but I also do talk a lot about Star Wars, so if you like any of that, please make sure you go ahead and subscribe to this channel. That way you'll never miss another video, and you will help support me, and it's much appreciated. My name is Starrapter. Thank you for watching, and bye-bye. Thanks for checking out the video. Please hit that thumbs up symbol. It helps me know that I'm making content that you guys enjoy. And if you enjoyed this video, I also include 2 videos down below you guys should check out. And please consider subscribing to this channel. It helps support me, and it notifies you guys of when I get new videos up on the channel. You can also contact me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Starrapter.